Hi everyone, Aiden here at the etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Flint Hill Goods compact cargo carrier and seeing how it fits on the back of our 2021 Jeep Wrangler. This is going to be a hitch-mounted cargo carrier that gives you a great way to carry some extra stuff with you when you're going on your trips or maybe going to the hardware store, things like that. Good for hauling extra stuff or just things you don't want to put in the back for the sake of making a mess. Now, one thing with the Jeep Wrangler that's going to make this very unique is the compact nature of it, but the short sidewalls, which do allow the door to be opened. This is with stock spare tires, so keep that in mind. But that allows us to open this up with a little over an inch of clearance. Now, what that means, though, is that you can only do that with the carrier empty. So if you're going on a road trip, maybe loading some stuff in the back of the Jeep, your space back here is very limited. Once it is partially loaded though, you can close it up, load the rest of your stuff out here, and when you get to your destination, unload everything. So you can have stuff on the inside, you're just not going to be able to get to it once the outside is loaded too. But it's still cool that you can trust that the carrier works pretty well with the Jeep. Or if you're just using this and leaving it in the hitch between uses, the back of your Jeep is still usable. Aside from all that though, what kind of actual space are we working with here? This is going to be the more compact option from Flint Hill Goods. They make a number of different cargo carriers, and this one's going to be the smallest. From front to back, we're working with 17 3/4 of an inch of actual usable space, inside edge to inside edge. And from side to side, that's going to be 51, let me just get my tape measure set, and 3/4 of an inch. So side to side, it's a pretty good amount of room, but front to back is where we really make these space sacrifices. The inside edge does come perfectly in line with the spare tire there, so we're not really sacrificing any space on that front. And then for the distance this adds to the back, it is going to be sticking out about 18.5 inches from that spare tire. It is a completely fixed carrier, so there's no folding or tilting here. If you leave it in the hitch, it's going to be sticking out 18.5 inches all the time. It is steel as well, black powder coated steel. Powder coat is going to help it resist rust and corrosion over time, and the steel helps keep things nice and strong. That's going to just make sure our tie-down points are very usable and give us a 500-pound weight capacity. Now when loading it up to 500 pounds though, you want to keep in mind your ground clearance. As it stands right now, we've got 14.5 inches of ground clearance, but the more we load this up with stuff, the back end will drop, reducing our ground clearance. Because it sits so close to the Jeep though, I think you'll be fine on steep driveways and hills, but just something to know and watch out for. Your exhaust on your Jeep is located on the passenger side, and it is angled down pretty significantly, but I would still avoid putting heat-sensitive items on this side of the carrier, like coolers, because we've seen a lot of them melt from the heat of the exhaust. So just keep that in mind as well. Now, because it's so close to the vehicle, it's going to be hard to access the anti-rattle bolt that holds this in your 2" by 2" receiver tube. I already don't love the design of the anti-rattle bolt because you have to tighten a nut on one side while holding a knurled end of the pin on the other, and it just has a tendency to come loose over time, we've noticed. So you might have to come back out and tighten that down with a 3/4 inch socket, and if it's hard to reach, that's going to be more of a pain. So just something to watch for, but it is one of the sacrifices we make for the really nice fit on the Wrangler. Overall though, it's going to be functional, it's going to give you some extra cargo space on a small vehicle, and it's one of the few hitch-mounted carriers that will work with that back door on the Wrangler. So if those all interest you, then this has been your look at the Flint Hill Goods compact cargo carrier on our 2021 Jeep Wrangler. Thanks for watching.